Welcome back to another video. Tied up here on the seawall, and I've been here a week or two now, waiting for the trailer to get fixed. Supposedly getting hauled out within the hour, so got everything ready. We'll see, but just need to do a couple projects on the bottom of the boat. So wanted to come here. It's gonna be like $620 something, I think. Haul out, put back in, power wash the bottom, and then a week in the yard. So we're gonna hang out here and see how it goes. Wish me luck. You can see just how dirty the bottom is. You got a bunch of these baby snappers living off the ecosystem that's growing there. So I'm excited to see what she looks like out of the water. They claim they're gonna power wash it for me. Should be the easiest way to get her all cleaned up, and then trying to get a couple gallons of bottom paint to do while we're out too, but having a hard time hearing back from the guys, so we'll see what happens there. There's only one strap on it. See that?
Yeah, well, that's enough.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that was a success. A little sketchy, a little nervous, but we are on the stilts. Ladder's up. They got the trailer pulled out. The bottom's been sort of scraped. I think they're coming back with a pressure washer. All in all, not too shabby. We got a lot to do, and I've been looking down there at the rudder. That is going to be very difficult. And I've only paid for a week here, so I'm going to have to get to work very quick. So one of the main problems I came here to fix is the rudder. And if you've been watching a while, back in the Bahamas, 20 miles offshore, hit a tree. The entire thing was floating in the ocean. There were no boats around, so I went down below, cooked my lunch, and then it felt like we hit a reef. Come out, tree branches wrapped all around the side of the boat. No bueno. So the main thing is the rudder has been scraping here against the hull now. So it's actually bent it back. You can see how close it is there. There's a nice gap, so we need to either bend it back, cut a thing here, fix it there. That's what we're trying to figure out. And I got the new autopilot installed. I can control it from my tablet now, which is kind of fancy. So I'm down here testing, just kind of seeing how it looks. And got her moved. You can see right here where she starts rubbing. is no good. And it used to be, I think, able to go almost all the way over here, so we could do sharper turns, but now it's getting stuck here. And so yeah, that's no good. A couple people have recommended just cutting this off so it doesn't rub anymore. That's a pretty janky fix, but we might do it. Or we're gonna see if we can drop it a little bit, inspect if the glass is broken here, if the tube's bent, and see what we need to do to fix it the right way. And the two other things we gotta do over here, got a new propeller to put on, which I would start on, but it's, can't really see, it's so dirty, and then new shaft seal. Back inside the boat now. Kind of odd, it's like you're being in a treehouse. You can't really see, but we're all the way up here. Next project, we'll see if we can start with a new PSS dripless shaft seal. And if you've been watching, I've had problems before with water coming above the floors while sailing. I have this exact same shaft seal already, but it's like 22 years old. I called the company and showed them those pictures, and they said it looks like the rubber has been compressed all the way, so there's no more pressure on the collar anymore. So we're gonna have to try to remove the old one, and to do so we have to remove the coupling from the transmission, which is a giant ball of rust. So got some ideas. We'll see if we can tackle that first while we're waiting for them to pressure wash the bottom. So put some hose clamps off, got the hose off for the positive pressure, the bolts off, the coupler, and I'm not able to get the shaft to slide back any. They still haven't pressure washed the bottom, so I think that's part of it. So I'm going to take the hammer out. We'll tap the propeller a little bit, see if we can't free that to see where we need to go from there. You can see there, that's the exact problem. There's a key. Shoot. A key right here. And it's so rusted, I think it's corroded to here. We obviously need that out to get the shaft out, or at least freed. So this could be a bigger problem than I thought. Ran by Rick's boat. He let me use the medium shaft puller, whatever this is called, but I think it'll clamp on down there, and we can twist this bad boy and it'll push the prop shaft out of the coupler. So as cool as this is, I couldn't get it to fit. This threaded rod is bigger than the gap here, and I can't get the shaft to go out anymore. So I have this idea, we'll see if it works. Took a scrap piece of aluminum. These bolt holes line up with these bolt holes, and this would line up with the shaft in the center. So I'm hoping if I bolt through here on each side and crank that down, hopefully it'll be strong enough it won't bend and we'll push the shaft a little bit. But we're gonna throw it on and find out. Well, you can tell by my sound of my voice it didn't work. It's bent the aluminum, which is not super surprising because aluminum is not strong, but the thing's in there. I don't have any more ideas. I have it's Tuesday night, I gotta edit a video, so probably gonna give up for today and see if we can't think of anything overnight. Good morning, it is the next day. Google is saying heat is our best friend when it comes to rust. So I've got the rusty blowtorch here, and we will see if it can tackle the rusty part. I'm going to be down here a while trying to heat it up. A friend said I need to probably wet some towels and lay them around just to protect the fiberglass a little bit. So I'm going to get those put in here, and then we will go and get to work. So I went to ask the guys here at the boatyard if they had like a smaller shaft puller or prop puller, because Rick had a smaller one, it was way too small, and the guy said no, just let me look. And I was like, okay. He came in here and beat the heck out of that thing with a hammer. Got her off. It looks to be level. We're gonna try to beat this out now. I'm thinking we'll soak this thing in some uric acid and then try to clean it up a little bit. But he also went ahead and beat this off for me, the old piece of the dripless, and you can tell it was pretty bad shape. So we can that should be just about everything. We can start getting the new shaft seal on while this is cleaning. Pretty darn excited. That was awesome. Sometimes you need someone in there who knows more than what I do. So kind of in between projects on that shaft seal, the strut, I think is what it's called, the part that comes down to hold the cutlass bearing right before the propeller, looks just a bit bent, and I'm kind of thinking it's probably from hitting that tree. So the tube, the shaft is just a few millimeters off in that stern tube, which doesn't sound like much, but I think that's a big deal according to Google. You want that as straight as you can. So talking to some sailors here, they're thinking since that's a brass strut, that we could probably heat that thing up pretty good, bend it back just a little bit. Talked to the guys in the yard, they said maybe tomorrow we could tackle it. Now what we're doing is the old shaft seal had positive pressure coming in from the heat exchanger. The water impeller pumps through, and it has a line that went into the shaft seal to cool off the bearings that were not there. There's no bearings in my stern tube. So I ordered the shaft seal without that connection. The website and company I called says it's not necessary to have positive pressure unless you're going over 12 knots motoring. I doubt we're going to be doing 12 knots in this boat ever. So I ordered a little plug, brass plug off Amazon. As tiny as it was like $5. And yeah, I'm going to just pull this part here, thread that in, and then we're good to go. Old hose, old fitting, new plug. I don't even think you can see it. There it is. Perfect. It's a little left. What was that?
So you gotta get more of the blade in if you get close to the chip.
Oh, it just fell off. Spent the morning here grinding and sanding the rudder. Cut off some more yesterday, as you can see. Now it's not rubbing the hole anymore. I'm gonna try to put some glass down to here, then gel coat, and then paint. We gotta wrap the glass around, fully enclose it, because this is foam in the middle. If we have any water coming in, that can expand in there and start breaking it. So that's what I'm working on today. Got my resin and stuff laid out here. We are going to get cleaning and laying that glass on. Put 4 layers of glass down, quite a bit of resin. Sure don't look pretty now, but trust the process, we're getting there. See, this is mainly to keep it waterproof. This is not so much structural up here, but it's foam on the inside. I think I just said this, but you want to keep the water out so the foam doesn't expand, especially because this is underwater all the time. So a little overkill on the resin. And then if this cures, if I mixed it right, then we'll come back and sand and grind this all down, make it a little smoother, and then come back with the gel coat over to kind of protect the fiberglass itself, keep some more water out. After grinding, sanding, and cleaning with some alcohol, we're starting to see the vision a little more now. It's getting there. So I did the glass. Now we'll do the gel coat. I got some total boat stuff. Got over a year ago now. I guess it's still good. I hope so. But gel coat is kind of made for doing touch-ups. Should be more than enough for here. And then we'll see how long this cures. Anyways, I'm gonna get to it. The fumes are getting in my head. Well, it looks like I was optimistic that this gel coat would still be good. I've had it about a year in the boat, and it is hard down here with some sort of like jello on top, and that is not mixing at all. So just Googled it. They said it has a shelf life of 6 months, and that is decreased by half for every 10 degrees warmer than 70 degrees. So in a boat of 95 constantly, I guess this has been bad a while, which sucks. But we're gonna go check the boatyard. I'll ask the people here if they got any. You think they would? They do painting all the time. And then we will be back shortly. In between projects, I'm gonna go ahead and put on 2 zincs on the shaft. They say 2 is better than 1. And want to give a big shout out to Robert Hagstrom, who sent out these items from Amazon. The zinc, the new shark bite coupler for the water lines, salt away. I'm gonna scrub the engine and spray this on there, hopefully help with the rust, and then a spare carb for the outboard. And also a big thanks to Mark Brown for sending out 4 of these courtesy flags. These are for the Southern Islands. You want to fly one for each country. And big thanks to Sunny, who sent out, we've got 7 or 8 of these courtesy flags here. I'm trying to stockpile all the flags for the Southern Islands over to Aruba, I believe, just so we're ready to go and don't have to try to track those or ship them down. They're not necessary, but it is courtesy to fly those. And I've been trying to do that, stay up to speed. And then one last thank you to Michael Snow, who sent out a spool of, let's see, 18 gauge wire. Just some spare. I used up the rest of mine running the Sense wire for the autopilot on and off. So big thanks to everyone for sending out parts. Helps out a lot getting the boat ready for January. 2 days later here, I have been trying to track down gel paint, and as things are going in this country, everyone promises they have some and they can get me some, but as the days go by, they never show up or come through with it. So I'm on my own and can't find any. I've been calling stores all over the country, hoping I could rent a motorbike and go get it. Can't get any. Box pack's gonna take a week and a half to get here, and I have a flight out of here in 1 week. So, and I'm also supposedly getting back in the water in 2 days. So yeah, we're on our own. It's a small section that I have to fix. If it was a very large area, I'd probably just pay, but it's like I gotta have to pay another $350 to store the boat in the yard another month. I consider doing that and flying back with the paint, but that's just expensive for what it is. So I bought this at the hardware store. This is not proper boat marine advice, but this is some sort of hydrophobica pintura acrylico, so like a waterproof acrylic paint. It's designed for using on like basements and foundations, so not marine applications, but figure we'll throw a couple coats of that on fiberglass. The resin on there is pretty much waterproof. This will just help seal it up any more. And then I don't have bottom paint either, because the yard promised they were going to be getting some like 2 weeks ago and never got the kind that they said they would get for me. So they've got some other stuff, but they want to charge $250 a gallon, and it's not the ablative but anyways, I could go on. We're gonna just throw the paint on and see how it goes, and hopefully that lasts long enough till we can get hauled out in a proper country that has access to boat parts. First coat of this stuff on. Looks nice, but looks can be deceiving. We'll see if it actually holds up in the water. I'll do 2 or 3 coats, try to build it up, and then I don't have any bottom paint either. So hopefully this will last a cruising season. Yeah, I think that's wrapping it up. Prop, zinc, shaft seal, engine alignment, rudder fix, no longer rubs the hole. That's it. I was, like I said, wanting to do some touching up on the paint and things like that, but not going to be possible here this year. The plan right now is to get hauled out next hurricane season, probably leave the boat somewhere for a couple months and go get a job again, so we can tackle the bottom job then. But for being 2 years old, the bottom was painted the day I bought the boat. The prior owner was painting it and putting it in the water. It's held up pretty well, I'd say, and everything else is looking good. So that's another 2 days in the yard. So next video we'll be putting it back in the water. But yeah, all in all, we're making it work. Well, that is wrapping it up for this week's video. All in all, let's see the final thoughts on the $600 haul out. I think the total was like $645 hauling out, putting in a week on the hard, and pressure washing the bottom. You can infer a lot just from watching the video. Would I recommend getting hauled out here? Personally, not. Even though it's cheap, just, you know, I can put up with a couple things going wrong. Well, one thing after the other. Lots of promises that never were kept. We're making it work though. Got to get out of here. Got to fix these things to get out of here. So, you know, it is what it is. The pros, the price was good. Hurricane hole here is nice for the season, and the food in town is cheap. The yard feels safe. There's no concern there. And they let you do your own work. They let you stay on the boat. No insurance required. So those are all positives. The cons, it took forever to hear back from the boatyard to try to schedule a date. We scheduled a date. I show up, and then another 2 weeks goes by before I get hauled out. Could have been a one-off thing, the trailer being broken. That's what the owner tells me. Talked to locals who have lived here a long time. They say this is a very common occurrence, the trailer being broken and people waiting. So if you're in a schedule, wouldn't come. And another thing, the boat falling off, apparently that has happened several times as well. So there's a risk there. There's no water, there's no electricity. There are a bunch of mosquitoes and no seams all night. There's no access to boat supplies in this town, even though big boat harbor. But as long as you bring your own stuff, you can make it work. And yeah, so if you're willing to do the work yourself, come prepared. Have a smaller boat and trying to save some money, you can make it work. But like I said, it's just been an interesting experience. We made it happen. I just felt like ranting. There you go, take it or leave it. Appreciate y'all for watching though. Glad we got a lot of these things done, even if not done the correct way. Hopefully good enough to get us through the southern islands to, like I said, plan is to get hauled out next year, next hurricane season, and then probably take 5 or 6 months back in the States and get a job again, save up some more money, and we'll see what happens after that. But that'll be it for this week. Next week, putting back in the water, getting the boat ready to leave for the holidays, and then as soon as I'm back, we are taking off. So I will see you in next week's video.